Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everybody around the world. Welcome back to another One Piece video featuring your boy, RP Luffy. Get ready for a very, very spicy deck profile featuring OP07, let alone a deck that you guys voted in for the second highest in our recent poll here on the channel, and it seems to be a fan favorite. I think this deck is quite strong in the current format, let alone I think it's kind of off the radar, on the back burner, if you will, for a lot of people right now. I don't understand why. I think this deck is very, very good, especially considering the meta has shifted from what it once was beforehand. It's a lot slower pace now than running around and seeing Zoro and Yamato pretty much on your daily basis. We haven't really seen Zoro shine, for a while, but Yamato was pretty much everywhere in OP05. She was doing her thing. She wasn't actually winning as much as like Sakazuki, but she was still out there. Sakazuki, being a very, very good control deck, was able to remove a lot of cards on board very, very quickly. He's no longer a thing right now in the current metagame, so it has shifted quite a bit to other decks, such as Rob Lucci, Gecko Moria, Black Yellow Luffy. These are kind of like the three most dominating decks in the format, let's be fair. There are some other decks that are running around, of course, like Bonnie. And of course, I'm not going to forget Law, because I don't really need to talk about that, right? I think you guys know Law's tier 0. It is what it is. Now, with that being said, some of these decks have a very hard time into RP Luffy. Law being one of them. And Nell being another. Black Yellow Luffy being another one. This deck can take the game and just spin it. You're a 6k leader. You don't necessarily have to attack into a Nell with this leader. You don't have to attack into Black Yellow Luffy. You just got to build your board. If a Nell wants to go ahead and do his little shenanigans and, pop one of your big bodies on board and lose 3 life, by all means, buddy, go for it. And what I mean by that is, if he decides to drop Raigo and clap one of your big characters, such as like Luffy, like your queens, your dragons, your Newgates or whatever, and go down to 1 life, that's fine. But in those Black Yellow Luffy matchups, as long as you're taking it slow, building your board, not attacking into his life, letting him do his own thing by removing life himself, you can get some scary characters on board very, very quickly due to the fact of how fast we ramp. And I think a lot of RP Luffy players are starting to pick that up, especially into those matchups. I'm not going to tell you I'm the best RP Luffy player out there, by no means. But at the end of the day, for people that really play this deck, really know the ins and outs of RP Luffy, I think you understand where I'm coming from when I say that. Now, of course, we do have some bad matchups in the format. I understand that, Otherwise, this deck would be dominating more than what it is now, It's hanging in there, alright? But it's not top of the top. Now, in any case, we've got a lot of new tools here in the format. Be it, I'm not going to try to butcher her name, but this girl here, she does quite well, considering that she can make your leader become an 8k for an attack. So in other words, this isn't an on block, it's when your opponent declares an attack, you can activate this ability. Kind of similar to, if you guys remember the brand new card that we got for Crocodile, for, what was her name? Baroque Works. I forgot what her name is. Miss Wednesday, right? It's similar to Miss Wednesday, whereas when your opponent attacks, you can activate this ability. She has a similar ordeal, except for this time around, you can discard a card from your hand, and then your leader becomes an extra 2,000 power. So this becomes an 8k just for that attack, which is nice, right? And then you can choose to block it if you want to. The reason why we are running this option, or we chosen this option, is because we have a lot of dead cards in this deck. Be it we have a lot of cards with no counter power. You guys already know this. In the Newgates, in the Luffys, in the Dragons, in the Kids. This helps you cycle dead cards and give you that, that little bit of extra boost, right? But today we're going to play probably like, 5, 6, 7 games, somewhere around there. We're going to play a handful of games with this card, and then we're going to take this card out, and I'll replace it with another one here we're going to talk about, just for a split second. And I think you guys are familiar with this one as well. We don't see this one that much, because we don't get to play around with a lot of, red decks in the current format. But we've gained access to Shanks in OP06, and the reason why I'll either play with this, or sub her out and play with Shanks. Shanks is really good into those green matchups, where, if you notice, it's very hard to get over some cards here, such as Eustace Kid. And again, the only way that purple is going to get over that card is by playing Ragnarok, or attacking over it with a, like a big body, like a 12k here, or Newgate, or something of that nature. And if you don't have access to those, you didn't draw into it or whatever, you have an idea to, you know, put Shanks in the deck and just pop it for free. Because Shanks allows you to kill any card that's, you know, under 10,000 power, which Useless Kid is. But I don't want you guys to play 4 copies of this, play 3 copies of this. This is just particularly into that green matchup. If your current locals is running around with so many Bonnies, or Green Uta is still a thing, you have an option with the Shanks, right? That's the only reason why that I would sub her out in this list. Now, there's another card here who can take this spot, who does really, really well into this format, and I think everyone knows what this is by now as well, which is Shiraya. If you're struggling with Black Yellow Luffy, or you want to, you know, have a better matchup into that, or you need to get better into that, this helps you out not only in Black Yellow Luffy, but it helps you out in the Sabo matchup, and it helps you out in Ace matchup. This alone allows you to become a very, very sticky defender on board. And considering they don't run with removal in Black Yellow Luffy, this isn't going anywhere as long as you have counter in your hand. Now, I'm not going to tell you that no Black Yellow Luffy runs any removal. Most of them don't, but some of them nowadays are starting to run Ice Age, which was interesting to me, but you know, it is what it is. Some of them are starting to run this card to couple this up with like Sabo or A-Cat Luffy to pop cards, so be mindful of that. That's just something to pay attention to. But overall, we've also got the brand new cards such as Dragon and Mr. Tuban Clay from EB01. Dragon in himself allows your leader to become an 8k when he's swinging, because it gives you 2 Rested Dawn, right? And then you have, if you're playing this on your 10 Dawn turn or whatever, this can become a 10k, this can go up to a 9k. You're doing numbers, right? I think Dragon is very strong in this deck as well, considering for what he allows you to do. If you so happen to have a Newgate on board, you can give Newgate the Rested Dawn. He can swing in and pop problematic cards, such as Rebecca, for free. Because if you've noticed, we aren't running a key card that a lot of these decks tend to do. And that's just a personal preference. I decided not to include her in this list, which is Nico Robin. Because we are running Newgate, I don't feel like she's super needed here in the current format. She's good into Rob Lucci and Gecko Moria, considering those are pretty much the only 2 decks that are running Rebecca occasionally. But I feel like with Newgate, it gets the job done. You know what I mean? So if you decide to feel like teching her in, of course there's space in the deck that allows you to do so. You can cut out a Zorojuro if you choose to. You can get rid of the guard point. You can add in 2 of these. You're fine. And speaking of which, into the matches right now in the format with Perona, you're going to start seeing her more often as well. I love this deck. I think it's very, very good. I don't know if this is going to become my new main when it comes to decks on the channel here. Whereas I put in a lot of content in with Yamato, this might be how I do it with Perona. I don't know yet. But I will tell you guys that this leader is very, very good into decks like this, who need cards on board to get that ramp up, or need certain units on board to be valuable. So, in a Bonnie matchup, where Bonnie needs to keep up her, for example, what's his name? Like, a rogue here. Perona allows it to be rested. The same concept in RP Luffy, where you stick a Zoro on board, and you need this to survive the following turn to attack to, get you that Rested Dawn. In that Perona match, it's probably not going to happen. It becomes less valuable. So he kind of becomes more of a pseudo blocker or like a 1k counter. But then you gain access to Mr. Tuban Clay here, which we've gotten from EB01, that allows you to ramp up as soon as you play this on board, and when he attacks, into those matchups that really, really matter, into a Nell. So for example, if you decided to starve out a Nell the whole entire game and you don't attack into him whatsoever, it's not bad, because we have ways to play around it with ramping up quickly, getting big bodies on board, playing down Law to discard cards from his hand, or by dropping Bon Clay, forcing them to respond with a Yamato to pop this, or, again, by dropping Raigo and losing multiple life, which go to the trash and doesn't get value for it. This will help you push the win games, considering it'll copy that Yamato's power, or that Anel's power, 7 drops this on board, or whatever. There are certain cards in this deck that do really, really well And I think a lot of people just need to give it a shot, need to play test a little bit more with RP Luffy into the current format. Just give this man a shot, man. I think he's very, very good. He's quite strong, especially being a 6K body. That in itself already gives decks like RP Law, you know, trouble to actually deal damage to him, especially when they're removing their Dawn to remove a character on board. Now, we've also gained access to the brand new OP07 Sanji here, and I think no other deck in the format utilizes this card as well as this deck can do outside of Reiju. And that being said, I think Reiju obviously does it better, like a lot better, but Luffy has a really cheeky play that he can do where if you drop the 10-drop Luffy and use your ability when you're at 0 Dawn to ramp up 1, then you activate this ability, you go to 2. You go to your following turn, you go to 4 Dawn. Right? You can swing in for 6, you can swing in for 12, and then you can play Sanji down on board, which is really cool. But that's just something to consider. I've also seen a lot of decks are starting to cut the 7-drop Eustace Kid. I personally don't understand it. I really like this card in this list. I think it does really well into the matchups that really matter, such as RP Law and Enel and Black Yellow Luffy. Just being a bigger body on board really helps out, and it makes your opponent spend more Dawn to have to hit you, because you're already a 6K, you know, just base power. So it is something to pay attention to and keep in mind, and don't disregard Kid just because you don't typically draw into it or it gets removed easy. He does have a nice stay in this deck, and I think it's well worth it. But in any case, we're going to dive into a bunch of games today. Remember, guys, this isn't the best all deck that you can build with RP Luffy. This is multiple different variations that you guys have probably seen with this deck. This is just what I've cooked up and what I am enjoying. Of course, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. How about your fellow community members down there? Hop in Discord, come tell me I suck. It is what it is. Let's dive into a bunch of games today. See you guys in a split second. Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into a bunch of games today. Coming at you guys with RP Luffy playing into Boa today. This should be a tough matchup for us, I think. Low-key, unless she doesn't really find a lot of red rocks, which I kind of find that hard to believe considering how much she can draw with this deck. Okay, yeah, she's running pudding. All right, so she is going to draw a lot of cards here. In any case, one of the cool things about this matchup is considering how fast we can ramp up. If she doesn't draw the removal at the correct time, we can kind of run her over, which is kind of nice. But we will run into those matchups here in this particular, matchup that we won't draw into our ramp up in the early game. So, and I'm talking like Bon Clay and Zoro. I feel like Mr. 2 is kind of a little bit more reliable, whereas Zoro has to survive a turn and then attack, where she can easily kind of remove that with, because he's a 3-drop. But most of the time, you kind of get on your feet really quick in this match. Right now, we're already at 7 here. Or 6, sorry. And then the other thing is you always want to go 8 and 9K when you're swinging here with Luffy, because we run a lot of 2K counters in Boa, and we're talking between 12 to 14, and some decks just run 10, but let's say 10 to 14 2K counters. Let's say that. And running is just going 7K each time is only getting 1K counter out of their hand, whereas if you're going 8 to 9K with Luffy, you're getting multiple. Obviously, it puts their ability online, but it's not really helping if you already have your Newgates down, you already have your big bodies down. You don't have to worry about Gravity Blade. You just have to worry about Red Rocks, which they typically run, what, 2 to 4, depending on your deck list. But they got to run out of those eventually. So I don't know. This is one of those matchups where I don't really feel like I struggle a lot with RP Luffy. Your results may vary. Hey, that's fine. But this is why, we can talk about it in the comments. And I try my best to respond to everybody in a timely fashion, if you guys have noticed. But in any case, I think Doflamingo is probably going to make this a little bit more difficult, because we don't have ways to remove the small blockers. And they're cheap, they're inexpensive, they're searchable with Sengoku. So, with the amount of times they draw as well, it's a little bit easier for them to just pick up a blocker, put it on board, guard out like my Newgate or my kid or whatever, and just chill. This ain't too bad. Our hand is okay, but we really need to see some big bodies right now. We've got a lot of 2K counters, just a lot of defensive pieces, which, if she opts to drop Kaido in the following turn, we could be at a huge disadvantage. With a 12K on board, with a blocker on board, that could really just put us behind quite a bit. A lot of people like to take that first hit just willy-nilly. Depending on the matchup, I kind of like to hold off on taking it as long as I can. Especially in a matchup like this, where I know they can just drop Kaido. But that was the first Red Rock. We're going to try it. It's probably not smart, but what are the odds of her having another Red Rock already in hand? If she's got one, it'd be what it'd be. I mean, we got to take a hit here soon. That way we can activate our Radical Beams, but we can get rid of this as well, thankfully. Just go 8 to face. Try to pressure this a little bit more. Which is nice, is we've gotten 3 damage already, and she has yet to get a hit in, because she's kind of been on the defensive end, or just trying to remove pieces and draw cards. She actually had another Red Rock. That sucks. So now we gotta discard a card here. Not really inclined to get rid of anything here, to be fair. The 2Ks are pretty useful, but I'd rather have the Radical Beams and the Zero Cost event, just in case our hand gets clogged. And speaking of clogged, another 2K counter. It's a great showing right now. Like, we run 8 2Ks, and here they all are. So, sim shuffling at its finest. And we still pressured this much with bad hands this game. Which is kind of crazy. Getting rid of all those 2Ks, which is really good here in the early game. Because if she has the option to just, Gravity Tiger or Gravity Blade, I think she's not going to do it. I think she would just play Kaido down. You know what I mean? Well, let's go ahead and risk it. Let's try it out and see. But I do think this would be the turn she'd play Kaido if she has it. Nice. Good. Got herself 4 cards, which does suck. We get another Radical Beam. Goodness, man. I can't win today. Let's go ahead and thin that hand out. I'm so glad she drew 4 cards. It's wild. Go another 10. 1 life to go. So really, the only thing we need to see here is either a Diable Jambe, a big body, and that's it. Because if she decides to play like more blockers of Doflamingo, it could be a problem. 6 to this. She's going to run into it with Kaido here anyway, right? If I decide to save it. So it's not really a point to do that. Kaido can do 12k. There's a blocker. I'm hoping this first life is like a dragon would be great. Oh. Okay. That's a board state. Thank you. Goodness. But we still have that blocker to deal with, though. This will still help. We can just go 8. Because we have potentially 3 attacks from her that we have to deal with, which is Leader, Boa, and then Kaido. And I guess the Jinbei. So having up 2 Dawn just for double Radical Beam is probably the play here. She's got a block. Yep. It would have been nice to get rid of 5k counter in hand, but I guess just blocking with Dofi is more efficient. So she has to go for game here, or play down multiple blockers to get out of this. Unless she has enough counter in hand to protect out of, what, 19k with Dragon? Not gonna let her take these for free. I think we'll save the last one, though, for Dragon. We have to make sure he stays on board in case she does put a blocker down. Yeah, no. We need this. So we can just Rad Beam out of this and we're fine. Right? 9. Yeah. Please don't put down 2 Dofis. Just let me pass. We've struggled this far, I want to say, but we've had a lot of defensive pieces, which is unusual for this type of deck. So 9k here. I guess we just give her the 2k counter. She's got... what's that? 6? So she can go 11k with Jinbei. There's this. Jinbei swings in at 11. Okay, never mind. I thought she was going to try to clear it. Alright, boys. It's been fun. It's been real. We're just RP Luffy doing Luffy things. Lost 1 life in this matchup. Can't complain too much. Let's just go 16 and call it a day. Good. 3 more Kaidos is crazy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. We're gonna dive into one more here. I don't see why not, really. Considering that, you know, we are gonna see Boa and Doflamingo a lot at locals, at regionals, all the big events and all that sort of thing. They're gonna be fan favorite decks. And I think they are gonna be decks to beat. Not necessarily tier 1 or tier 0 right now in the format, but we're playing RP Luffy, boys and girls. Alright. It be what it be. I love that they're able to do plays like that in draw cards. It's just really nice. With the pudding, it's really cool. Let's go 5 and ramp up real fast. Go up to 5 Dawn. They've got 6 cards in hand. Let's play down the law. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. Ignore me. I swear that said 7, but okay. I even counted 2. That's wild. Oh well. Misplays happen. Well, that was a huge misplay there. I got overzealous, and I think a lot of us still do that. You know, when we're playing RP Luffy, just one of those ordeals. You're like, a lot of cards, let's play it on law. Yeah, it happens. It is what it is. We should still be able to come back from that. I mean, we lose a Dawn for it, because we had to play, we use his ability, but still. That's interesting, though, but it'd be what it'd be. Let's go 6k. Sure, 7k, my bad. She's got 4 Dawn left to play around with. I would think that she'd play down a blocker here, but what do I know? Get rid of the dragon. It's not too bad. 5 to 4. We'll counter out. Just to make back that Dawn that we had to lose with the ramp there. We can attack into the Jinbei here. That wouldn't be too bad, right? Let's just go 4. Go up to 9, get down the Newgate. Deal with it. Come on. Thank you. She gave me all of that counter. Nice. Cool. I figured as much. Considering she gave me all that counter, she wouldn't have enough to protect the Jinbei there. So. Make you work for it. I don't really need the hand right now. I think considering we have Newgate on board, we're chilling. She got rid of a Zoro and Law with Gravity Blade, which is crazy. Another dragon. It's about to be a scary board. How many red rocks do you have? I think we can leave up 1 Dawn here for guard point. And then we have 2 9Ks and a 10K swing on turn 5. Yeah, I know, right? And we would have been here sooner if I didn't misplay with the law, but it happens, okay? Don't crucify me too much. I think we just have to go 10. I think we need to keep the guard point just in case she's feeling a little bit a little spooky and it wants to like stack all Dawn on and attack into something. I doubt it, but you never know. Goes 9. Oh, she is going for dragon. 6 left. Let's guard point this. Her queen. I totally forgot we had queen in hand. Red rocks to Newgate. Not a problem. Play down another dragon, and this should be game. Yo, back-to-back turns, by the way, with over 9,000 power for 3 swings is crazy. There's a 10. Good game. Nah, I'm out. I gotta go to the next one. Alright, let's go ahead and hop into some of the big bads here in the format. Playing against Moria here as RP Luffy. I love to see it. Thank you, Sindri. That was a terrible discard. We'll take those. Alright, he got the Perona, never mind. This is the one thing in this matchup where I absolutely hate. Because we don't run with a lot of 2K counters. And it just so happens that we have 3 2Ks in hand. So, if he decides to play this Perona down, yep. We either lose ramp or we lose counter. and they think ramp is more important. So I think we have to lose the 2k here. Hey, speaking of ramp, let's go, boys. That'll push us to, what, 7 Dawn next turn? Because we can play down the Mr. 2, of course. Get this man to stick on board. Let's go. Actually, no, we don't have to do that, do we? 6. But it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Because I've learned playing this deck into this matchup is that Gecko Moria cannot handle Newgate. Especially when we're getting Newgate down this early. This man doesn't have the removal half the time. And if you draw into another Newgate back to back, you know, like Drake says, back to back, you're fine. Being an 8k body is kind of ridiculous. Especially when Moria needs to spend 3 Dawn to use his leader ability just to put something on board. Like in this scenario here, he cannot attack me unless he decides to put 4 Dawn on something to swing into me. Yep. And we just gave you that 2k counter. Thanks, buddy. Oh, no. Well, I mean, I guess next turn he's able to at least clear 1 Newgate with the Kuzan. But for the time being, he's taking 2 hits here. And then we can drop Dragon next turn and go for game. Unless he runs with... Rebecca's not going to save him, right? Because we have a Newgate on board. We can pop that. So no blocker will save him in this scenario unless it's a Borsellino or a Sabo. And it'll only prolong for a turn, I think. Oh, he has 2 Sabos in trash and a Rebecca. I think we're chilling. So he's cost down by 4. I assume an Ice Age comes down here. If he decides to play Gecko Moria, he can get back an Absalon and pop me. Okay, so he just hard casts Rebecca, draws a 2k counter from trash. There goes Hina, so Newgate is gone, 100%. Yep. Absalom comes up, pops Newgate. Sure. I feel like we've seen this before. Yep. 9k here. I don't think it matters if we take this hit or not. I think we can just win game next turn, period. Unless he somehow has enough counter for 3 attacks, which I don't think he does. We'll pop that. 12k free damage, yep. Just go 7 and 10. I think this is it, boys. Nice. Just wanted to make sure we've already did the ability. I always forget sometimes. It's a habit. Good game, buddy. Of course, I'm going to do another one, alright? We might as well just keep the trend. We did 2 boas, 2 geckos here. We might as well just do this game. But I assume this match isn't going to be like the first one, so I think we only got lucky just because we found the 2 Newgates back to back. Speaking of Newgate. I mean, our hand is pretty cracked here in the early game, so you never know. Because we have the Zoro, he ramps us up 1 here. That's 5. This will be 6, 7. And the next turn we drop Newgate already. Let me get it. Thank you. Yeah, so turn 4. If you curve out right, and it's quite consistent, it really is, with the Newgate. Unless your draws are just terrible and you never draw into a Newgate. But to be able to do this on turn 4 is very, very hard to deal with. Unless you have the removal ready, which a lot of decks don't. You're an 8k body with a 10k on board on your 4th turn. That's crazy. And here we go, boys. Let's go ahead and do the ramp up. We got 1 Dawn extra to play around with, which we don't have anything here. I guess we can just float it. Or we can just go for the Kuzan. It's probably smarter just to try to remove this, right? Oh, wow. Alright, you're cool. That's fine. Was that 3 cards out of hand? I'll take that. That's okay. Any day. He does have 8 Dawn, though. So, potentially he could remove the Newgate here this turn. Especially considering he does have Kuzan on board. He's got 2 Absalon. So I guess hypothetically he could do this. Drop the... Oh, never mind. Never mind, I lied. I figured he would just attack me, you know, go 5 and just -4, play Newgate down, not Newgate, Gecko Moria to get back the Hamapo and then Absalon, but this seems a bit of a stretch considering how many pieces he needed to do this. But we'll take those, that's fine. Because now we have Eustace Kid to come down here as well to stall us out into the rest of the game. He's got 3 cards left in hand. I don't really have to put too much pressure into his life and giving him free cards. We can just clear board here with Kuzan. And let him struggle trying to do damage to me here. Let me get it. Thank you. We can just float the Dawn over just to make him think that we have Rad Beam. Yep. Get a Law. That's not very good here. There's the Gecko Moria. So he's probably going to get back a Rebecca. I don't see him not getting a blocker here. Either Rebecca or Perona, right? Yep. And you should play nothing here. Because you don't really want to... Oh, wow. Alright. Brand new, got rid of Sindri. I guess that's not too bad. Another Robluchian trash. Kid's about to put in a lot of work here. Gets the Perona back from the Rebecca effect. Dang, man. All the 2Ks again. This is like our very first game. Come on, Queen. Thank you. Get me out of here. I guess we don't really need the Diable, right? Considering we have the Newgate and his only blockers that he plays with is Rebecca and Sabo, I think we should be fine. Do we dare to play another one? Let's go ahead and go 8K first. Yep. Cool. We can go... Yeah, we can go 7 here. We can go 7. Or 8, because of 1,000, yeah. But 7. This way we can hold the Dawn in case Queen draws us into a guard point or a Radical Beam. Please. Okay. Never mind. We may have enough counter without it here. I mean, we got 11k counter, right? We should be fine. I can actually take this hit. He's got 10. I could take this hit and see what we get. Let's try it. Let's risk it. Okay. I probably really shouldn't have done that in hindsight, just in case he does have, like, you know, double Ice Ages and Rob Lucci. You never know, but still. I felt like I was comfortable enough to be able to do that. Okay. I don't know if I would have played the second Gecko Moria here. I think I might have tried to push for more damage. Unless he didn't have a way to get another blocker on board. Which is why he did it, to play Rebecca. Perhaps. But I don't know. His hand's not looking too great over there. Alright, what are you doing here? Come on. We have things to do. Okay, got the 2k counter back. And we got another 2k. Alright, Newgate. Let's go ahead and win the game, buddy. I appreciate you for carrying me. Go up to 8. Let's do the kid thing. I think next turn we can go for a game. I don't think I have to worry about the Gecko Morias on board. Unless he can remove the queen in the following turn. Alright, we'll take that. That was quite a bit of cards in hand. That's fine. Yeah, let's do this anyway. Why not? Being able to have Kid on board and Newgate at the same time is pretty disgusting. Get rid of the Rebecca, I guess. No other choice. I decided to attack into the Moria for 10. Because I felt like if I would have attacked Leader, he would have just taken the damage, you know what I mean? And then left the Rebecca up. This way, if I attack into the Moria, I threaten the Moria or counter from hand. Which it doesn't seem like he had, considering he decided to block. 9. We'll do that. No, we need this. I think we need Kid to survive so we can win. Because now we can just play this slow. We can go 7 with Queen or 7 with Leader here. And then hopefully we have enough left to finish him off with the rest of the attacks. As long as those aren't like some zero cost events or 2k counters, I think we're fine. Even with the 2ks, actually. I guess we'll just do this and do that. Alright, so Kid's chilling. If only that was a dragon. Alright. So we'll just go 7 with Queen first. So now we're going all in. We'll go 9 with Kid. Yup. That's 6. I think the 10k... Was that right? Yeah. We can do this. I should have just done 11k. I think that was more efficient, right? 2, 4, 6, 11. Yeah. I should have just done 11k. That's my bad. And GG, right? Extra done, just in case. Well played, buddy. Not bad. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we'll probably play one more game after this one, and then we'll call it a day. And we're going to dive into another deck list here on the channel. In any case, we're playing RP Luffy into a Nell, in which we've got a pretty cracked hand. We got Zoro, we have Mr. Tubon Clay already. I think we can take this match slow. And me personally, just like I play Black Yellow Luffy matchups, I don't like to attack into the leader. I like them to forcibly take their own life. That way, you know, eventually, when my board gets big enough, we can just go for game. You got it. You can have it. I mean, I don't have the counter in hand anyway. Another Mr. 2. That's fair. Just go 4. Get the ramp up. There's no other reason. If he wants to not pay attention and give me some counter, I appreciate it. Alright, yeah, okay, never mind. Ramp up here as well. As much as I want to attack him. 4, 5, 6, 7. We're at 7. So next turn, we can drop down Dragon on board. Let me get that Newgate, buddy. All I need you to do is hit me and give me Newgate. That's it. 5 down open. So that looks like a Gedetsu. Right? No, Luffy. Maybe he's just playing that to like set himself up later. I don't know. He can't use his leader ability right now. Speaking of which, just play Shanks. Let's pop it. Now what? This is the moment where he decides to hit me with Raigo, right? Because that'd be awesome. But in any case, this is why we kind of take this matchup a little bit slow. That way Enel is forced to do A or do B. If we're able to stick a lot of bodies on board, and he doesn't want to drop Raigo down and lose all the life, that's totally fine. We're just going to attack into the Enel here. Not the leader, but the character. With both our units, I think it's probably the better play. This will just force him to trash life, instead of him gaining the life when I hit him. Let's do Mr. Tubon Clay here. Gonna trash that life there. I'd appreciate it. Why, thank you. See, look, Shirahoshi. That's crazy, isn't it? Yellow being yellow. I'm gonna hold back Shanks, and I'm gonna hold back Leader Swing. Alright, so that's out of the way. We've got the Rad Beam. we have Diable Jambe. Sorry about the dog. Tendon open. He can't heal here with Ace. I guess he can heal with Ace, but he can't really do the rush thing. He can't heal with Yamato. But I would imagine he could play Yamato and pop Mr. 2. Where he can do that. Let's just Rad Beam it. I know it's silly, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to Rad Beam this, and we're going to go ahead and protect it. With Frankie, I guess. If he wants the Yamato, that's totally fine. Awesome. Because that's his whole turn there. He doesn't heal up, nothing else happens. Cool. And we already have 2 more in hand. So we can just get these guys ready and pass turn. This might be a silly way to play into this matchup, but I don't know, for whatever reason, this has been working for me as RP Luffy, which is kind of wild. All you gotta do is get your big bodies on board and you're chilling. Like, I feel like now that we've drawn into the time skip Luffy and a Newgate, I think we have to try to go for game next turn. Alright, so Bon Clay can swing in for 9, right? Because you can steal Yamato's power. 9k with Dragon, 12k with Shanks. He's got 7 in hand. I think we can actually potentially go for game. I guess I'm banking on a lot of duds in hands. Which I doubt it, but who's to say? I guess let's start off. Do that, copy this. You either got 5k counter, takes the damage. Please no trigger. Thank you. We're about to do this in 1 turn, boys. 1 turn. He doesn't have it. I'd imagine if he did, he would have countered out of the first swing with Mr. 2. Come on. Make it make sense. Thank you. Another no trigger, boys. Let's get Dragon down. That's 8, 9. And I guess we can just go 10 and risk it. Because we have 12k with Shanks. Watch, I'm about to get veggied. 100%, here he comes. Well, we still have 2 more attacks, so. Or at least 1 more attack here. So maybe even Capone doesn't save him. Well, no, never mind. Capone does save him here. Come on, man. That's it. You got it. Bruh. 2, 4, 6k counter in hand. 8k with Frankie. He got that second one with the Amaru, so he wouldn't have that technically. So he had 6k counter. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last one for the day. We're going to dive back into the deck list here. I'm starting to lose my voice already. It'd be what it be. Speaking of which, though, that a no match, that sucked, man. We played really, really well, I like to think. And if it wasn't for the, I guess, the Amaru there, he definitely got cooked. So, hats off to him. You know, yellow being yellow, doing yellow things, it is what it is. But I think that's how I want to play this matchup into the Enel, is just ramp up, get big bodies on board, let them stick. And when I have enough, or when I think I have enough, the big swings, being 9 to 10k, you know, it's way too much for him to deal with sometimes, especially if you guys draw into, like, the 4-cost law to make him discard cards at the hand. It's pretty rough. But speaking of which, we're probably going to take this match the same way and not attack Luffy unless I absolutely have to, or when I'm getting close enough to be able to TKO him, or OTK, sorry. But Bon Clay and stuff, they should be able to stick on board in this matchup. I do know they have started running like Ice Age, and that's because in OP07 we've gained access to like Egghead Luffy from Egghead, so it allows him to pop units on board, and Ice Age really just allows him to hit a lot of targets. So it'd be what it be. But hopefully this Luffy is built different and doesn't have any of those cards. Oh, no. He's running Sabos instead, so bye-bye. I'll see you later, buddy. It was too good to be true. Yep. But it's okay, though. We've got quite a bit of counter in hand. We've already got 3 big bodies. We should be able to do this match. We just gotta take this one a little bit slow as well. Yo, man, slow down. 9k? We'll counter out. Unfortunately, that's our only rad beam we have right now. So next turn, we're taking a hit from Sabo and Leader. So let's go ahead and drop Newgate on board. This will at least help us, I think. As much as I want to attack him here, I would think he would just take the hit. But it feels weird not attacking when you have the Newgate buff. I think this is the only matchup that is the exception, right? Because you want them to spend their own resources to take the lives. That way they can activate their leader ability. So let them waste their 2Ks like their Hioris or Makinos or their Flampeys. Sabo comes down here. So he's running both Sabos in this mix, that's good to know. But I don't think that blocker really matters here. Because he can't really get rid of Newgate unless he does have the Ice Age like I mentioned earlier. Go 7. That's fine. I'm an 8k leader. What are you going to do? Yup, you're weak. Alright. Let me get it. Darn. I mean, Nami's not so bad. We can actually draw into more events with her if need be. I don't want to use time skip Luffy just yet. I'm going to try to save that when I go for game. Because what I've noticed in this matchup, where I believe RP Luffy has a very, very good showing versus this deck, is because if you read the little ones, right, like the little brothers, it says that Luffy gains that power until the end of your opponent's turn. Well, when you time skip, you take another turn. So at the end of the day, you end your turn, then you start a new one. Therefore, that buff should go away. And that's the way it works. So at the end of the day, man, we're swinging for 12k, 12k. Or, 12k, 6k, but it's pretty good. And I don't think a lot of them expect it sometimes. And it has won me quite a few games, beat up the time skip and canceling out a Luffy buff when their leader is like a 9k. It's kind of nice. Oof. I think drawing a second one would be pretty bad. We might as well grab this. Because I don't know if he's going to try to set up with Sabos or not, because he does have some in trash. 9 Dawn left. As much as I want to play down Dragon, let's get this down instead. Just because we can set up and have another body on board to attack. But then we have 4 Dawn floating over. If we play down Dragon, we're not going to attack here. Because I don't want to push him to 0 life right now. But now we have 5 Dawn that I'm not doing anything with. Let's not play Frankie. Let's just pass it up. Really weird turn for us here. Any other deck, I would have played the Dragon down and attacked, into leader. But in this scenario, we don't want him at 0 life unless he puts himself there. Plays another Sabo. Pops Mr. 2. Goes to 0 life. Yep. 3 Dawn left to play with, though. So he only has enough to play down 1 little brother. Yep. And he shouldn't use Luffy ability here. He needs to keep the Sabo up there. He got himself another Sabo. You're so cool. Goes 6. I think next turn we can win the game, actually. Okay, we get a Shanks. That's not great. Another 9k. Let's risk it. I know this is crazy, but he's got 5 cards in hand, right? His leader's going to be a 7k. Countering out of here is probably the better thing that we need to do, but we don't need those Frankies for next turn anyway, so. But like I was saying, he's going to be 7k this turn. He's got 5 cards in hand. We've got 3 attacks. With Dragon makes 3 attacks. I think we're okay here. It's 12. We could play Dragon down, give the Newgate the rest to Dawn. Let's just go 10k. Let's go 10k. If he does have it, we'll have to pivot here. Come on. Nice. Okay, cool. That's it. That's all we need. That's all we need from him to do. Because now we can just play down Dragon. We can time walk with Luffy, right? And just end his whole plus 2,000 power. But we don't necessarily need to do that. We can just play Dragon down here. And then go... He's at 7, so we have to go 9k. With leader. Yeah, okay. We win. Is that Sabo goes to the deck. And he can't use it as counter due to his, his Luffy ability. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar with how he works. All face-up life doesn't go to trash for this leader. It goes to the bottom of the deck. See ya. And, GG, buddy. Well played. Quick math, boys. It's pretty good. But in any case, we're going to dive back into the deck list here. I'll see y'all in a split second. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everyone who decided to make it into the end of the video today. Today was a special one. Especially for me. I got to play with the deck in which I very much enjoy. Have always enjoyed since he's come out here. Which is, RP Luffy. So hopefully you guys will pick up this deck, give it a shot. Let me know what you think about it. Leave your thoughts and your opinions down in the comments below. Let me know what you're running. How about your community down there? Do just that. But, in any case, I told you guys we're going to come back into it. We're going to take a peek at the deck list and see if you guys wanted to change anything, what I thought about it. I did go over the Shanks and the, what's her name? I always forget how to pronounce her name, so that's my bad. Where's she at? This lady. These two cards are the only ones that are generally interchangeable for me. Outside of Shiraya. I do think Shiraya is one of the better blockers in the game. To be fair, she's really good considering she lets your leader become an 8k just for that attack. Whereas this is really good into black-yellow, Luffy matchups, Ace matchups, and Sabo matchups. This is pretty strong. But pick your poison. Both are very, very good in this deck. Outside of that, you do have your options for Shanks. This is for those green matchups such as your Film Uta and your Bonnies, the ones that are running around with Useless Kid at your locals. This helps you deal with them without having to give yourself a headache, right? And then, of course, Zoro. We talked about this as well. If you want to add in Nico Robin, just to be more consistent when it comes to getting rid of those Rebecca blockers. I don't know why it's typed in nice. Get rid of those Rebecca blockers inside of those matchups with Rob Lucci and Gecko Moria. By all means, you can cut out one Zoro, add this in, cut out the guard point if you want to, and add in another one. I personally enjoy it the way it was beforehand, but each their own. Everyone has their own preferences and their ratios. But overall, this has been the deck that I've been cooking up here as of late when it comes to RP Luffy. Before we head out, I do want to give a special shout out to our gaming giant up here in Virginia, which is our locals for One Piece. We house generally around 30 to 50 people every single Sunday and every Tuesday. So for those of you guys who are out here in that area, out here in the DMV side of Virginia, come stop by, come say hi, come play a bunch of games, meet a bunch of people, talk One Piece, of course, and all things fun. In any case, we also, if you guys need products, we have tons of product for sale, for trades. When it comes to booster boxes, we've got you covered there as well. But overall, this has been Pawseplays. Remember to smash the like button, make sure to subscribe for future content when it comes to the channel. Hop in the Discord, come tell me I suck. It is what it is. I will catch you guys in the very next one. Stay safe out there. I'll see y'all later.